This is Morten from English. We are still here at the Flower City Group in Rochester, in New York State. And it's actually been a very fantastic day. And now I have the pleasure of talking to CEO Steve. Steve, good to see you.
Good to see you.
I was asked to ask you one question just to get things cleared out right away. What is it about that dog?
Bruce the Bat Dog, yeah.
Bruce the Bat Dog, I need to know.
So we've got a partnership with the Rochester Red Wings, and we set up a charity program with a dog that picks up baseball bats. And for every bat the dog picks up, we donate $100 to a veteran organization, the Veteran Outreach Center, and also Honor Flight. So instead of having the Bat Boy, 6 games a year, there's the Bat Dog. Yeah. So we have Bruce. Prior to Bruce, there was a dog, Milo, as well. So that's what we've been doing.
Your dog, or?
No, it's owned by a veteran who trained the dog up on picking up the baseball bats.
So they're getting too good to it, basically?
Well, he's getting really good. He got called up to the majors, to the Nationals, and did one game there. Was on the Today Show and everything, so yeah.
Oh. So does that give you extra, let's say, positioning in the market and a little bit mentioning from time to time, or?
A little bit, but really it has a lot more to do with the local area. Most of our clients are national based, not many based here in New York, but it really for the employees, the outreach for the current employees and also prospective employees.
So it's part of your CSR and part of your branding.
It's part of our branding. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So now we cleared that. Okay, so serious issues ahead. How is it to be a CEO of a company like Flower City Group?
Candidly, there's good days and bad days like most, but especially as we're growing here, it's been great. We took this company from more of a packaging / litho label printer and turned us into a retail printer. So now that we're hitting the ground running, the challenges of today are a little different than about 5 years ago when we made the pivot. But the challenges of today are mainly about growth and getting more product out. So.
But I guess that, when you take a company and do a turnaround or change its focus, it must always be like, okay, investing in the right equipment, investing in the right people, figuring out how to get to market. That doesn't come easy, right? Because if you make anything wrong, it can be very costly, right?
Yeah, it can. And, fortunately, if we look at the equipment side from a CapEx perspective, a lot of the meat was here, right? So what we added was a lot of the ancillary, equipment that needed to go in. We didn't digitally print as of 5 or 6 years ago. So we had to add digital presses. Well, it wasn't really that complicated to say, why don't we print digitally? We had this philosophy that we don't do digital, similar to like Kodak. Well, that didn't really work out well for them, right? So unfortunately, adding some digital equipment and, supplementing that with all of our offset firepower from a CapEx perspective has been a little easier. On the flip side with the employees, getting everybody to row in a different manner, especially on the retail side where we're not running folding cartons into inventory. We're looking at date-based programs and you can't miss, right? So getting us culturally to all row the same way took a little bit, but we're rolling now.
When I look at the products you do, it seems to be like premium products, and it seems that you position yourself of being in, let's say, in the upper class of the value chain. In this, how competitive is it from your perspective in getting to market with these products?
Yeah, it depends on what it is. Stuff that's more signage based tends to be a little bit more commoditized, which isn't necessarily the worst thing either. It kind of fills up the plant a little bit more. When you get into the more display side of stuff, a lot of it is about creativity and how much ROI they're going to get on kicking a display out. But the retail side, if we're doing a big program for a retailer, we might be on press for a couple days, whereas in a corrugate display perspective, it might only be on press for an hour or two. Yeah. And at that point, it's not nearly as commoditized. It's more about the creativity.
As CEO, I guess that, it's a little bit of having the finger on the pulse on every little aspect in a company like this. When you invest in technology, how much are you involved in? Of course you're involved in the process, but are you evaluating technology, or is it mainly the numbers that you look into, or what is your role there?
Yeah, a lot of it's a little challenging on the CapEx side again when we start looking at equipment. There's not a lot of companies who are manufacturing equipment that fit exactly what we do. So I spend a lot of my time on trying to MacGyver equipment that may have been designed for somebody else or for a different product subset and bringing it into here and trying to be more and more efficient. Right?
So it's also on the technical side.
It's very much on the technical side. When we start looking at ROIs, not that we don't do ROIs, but every manufacturer of equipment will make an ROI work for you, right? That's just the nature of the beast. And
plus, you can say that the moment that you have invested, it's more about utilization, right? Because I mean, the moment that you can utilize it and you have not priced yourself entirely out of the market, you should be profitable, right?
Oh, without a doubt, right? And again, looking at when we're making decisions on equipment and where to move forward, it becomes challenging because we may want to pivot and use a machine for a different thing than it was actually designed for, right?
Like 57,000 sheets in 16 days of production, for example, or
57,000 sheets through a digital press, exactly. That large format wise, that's a lot of firepower to get through there and coordinating it to get it through the facility. Then you got to trim them, right? And then you got to have big enough skids to move 57,000 sheets around and stage it for production lines. But that's what we spend a lot of time on, whether we go to Print United or we're looking at some of the other shows that are around. It's looking at the equipment that's out there and how can we utilize that to achieve what we need to get done.
I mean, I understand, of course, that if you can operate the machines fine and price it right, then it will be profitable. But I mean, in that journey, how important is the relationship with the vendor? I mean, in this case, with the Onset X3, your colleagues have already spoken about how important the relationship is with Agfa, but I mean, you cannot really know that before you start a relationship, right? So, I mean, how do you get into understanding how the reputation of a vendor is in the market?
Well, frankly, there's just good news, bad news. There's not as many around anymore. And, we look at our peers who are across the country. I came from a $6 billion conglomerate. One of them that's out there.
A lot of them.
And I've got a lot of peers that are around as well. And word travels pretty well, right? And everybody, talks and kind of knows what's around. So we spend a lot of time, with the relationship with our peers, who might even be our competitors in some cases, but we're all in it together, right? So the better we all do, the better our manufacturers are, the better the equipment will be out to the marketplace. So you tend to hear around what's there. So, in the case of, Agfa with the Inca technology, we've known of the Inca technology and what's out there because we know it's fully baked. It's been out in the marketplace. So
and they don't like to call it the Inca, right?
Yeah, right. It's now the new name, the Kodiak or
Agfa Onset X3.
The Agfa Onset X3. Got it.
Just to make it easy, right?
Exactly right. That's
so, I mean, now we talked a little bit about acquiring process and the support of the companies. I mean, in current times, I think that everybody's a little bit worried about the tariffs and how that influences the printing industry. Is that something that at all is on your radar right now, or?
A little bit, but not as much as probably other industries or even more commoditized printers. When your margins are that tight in just general commercial printing, that
of course influences you a lot.
That may swing the needle. Whereas for us, we spend so much time assembling displays and everything else.
The value proposition is way broader, right? And as I think that Craig said to me that in commercial offset, if you have 3 processes where you can basically make money, you have 14 processes, right?
Right, we have more levers that we're able to pull, right? So, of course it matters, right? If inks are coming over or, printing plates, that kind of stuff. But, in general, most of our stuff has been sourced domestically. But then again, going farther up the supply chain, we print out a lot of plastics. Well, where are they getting their resins from? Are they coming from overseas or is that more domestic based? And, most of our suppliers feel very comfortable keeping up domestically with the resins that are coming in.
But that is good because then you can keep prices in place and make sure that competitiveness stay within the U.S., right?
That is correct.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, because I think that the uncertainty has been the biggest issue for a lot of people in the industry and other industries, but now it seems to have some certainty in that we know the levels of the tariffs. So I guess that also makes it easier for you, even though it influences your business a little bit, right? Yeah,
a little bit. I mean, again, we're somewhat unique in what we're doing here every day. Like every day there's a new challenge that we didn't know what was going on. The uncertainty of, we got 30 trucks that need to ship out today and only 27 showed up. Like, how do you handle that, right? We all lived through COVID, right? What was going on every day with that? Nobody knew what was going to happen, right? What's an essential business? You just figure it out as you go.
I mean, if you look at the past 10 years, right? I mean, we have had our challenges, energy, inflation,
everything,
COVID,
right? So
everything.
So now they throw tariffs in. That's fine. We'll work through it just like anything else.
If we believe in the 7 good years and the 7 bad years, it hopefully soon will be the 7 good years.
Right. We get back to status quo, median, right?
Last question, Steve. When you look at again as a leadership and management position, how comfortable are you with the future of what you do and how you will be able to expand your business?
Yeah, again, specifically to our niche, which is not so much printing, we've got a couple hundred employees and about 30 work in the press room, right? So obviously printing's a mean to our end to get to where we're going, but I see for us and where we're positioned, again, this surfing elephant analogy where we're going to be large enough to handle big programs, but we're still going to be nimble enough. Being privately held, we're not publicly traded, there's no private equity group, so we're able to quickly and effectively make decisions on equipment.
And makes it less stressful as well,
A
right?
lot less stressful and a little bit easier to make decisions and pivot, right? We might make a decision and we make a mistake, that's fine, but we're making decisions to move forward. So, from our positioning standpoint, we're extremely optimistic about where we're taking this.
Fantastic. All the best and thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Likewise.